ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those in between and those on between. Welcome to Ramblin' About Wrestling's Ramblin' Recap of Live in Coventry 2026. We have a stacked card for you, 9 matches to preview, and the only way to preview them is to view them. Let's start things off with how we started things off. Nino Bryant taking on Josh Holly. This one, of course, building all the way to Wembley when Nino Bryant, the winner of the 2025 and 2026 J Cup, will take on Leighton Buzzard. His name is a town for the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship tonight. Nino Bryant tried to end Josh Holly's potential interference in less than 5 weeks' time. He did get the win, but I don't think he ended any interference. As first of all, this was an incredible contest. There's simply nothing else to say. Technical wrestling on display. Nino Bryant showing, I mean, we already knew it, but showing that he can go in a technical manner and a high-flying aspect. I don't think he even did a dive. He might have, potentially once or twice. There were a few times when he looked like he was going to be diving, but Josh Holly managed to weasel his way out of it. Some really cool parkour-esque maneuvers as well from Nino Bryant. Josh Holly swiped at him, and Bryant managed to dodge out the way, left, right, centre. Good stuff all around. But yeah, after the match is where the real action happened. Leighton Buzzard, who was on commentary, came down to the ring, and he quite frankly just clocked Nino Bryant with the title. Horrible stuff from the boy. And after that, Josh Holly held Nino Bryant ready for another title shot, but the Flying Bryant brothers made the save, and Xander Bryant, wearing the same shirt for a few weeks now, I have a very bad feeling due to the jealousy, perhaps, that he might be experiencing. He just doesn't look very happy, and of course we know in Bradford he did get himself ejected from ringside. It was unjustified that he was ejected because referees suck, and we'll get onto that in a little while. I personally feel very validated after this card the last week. But yeah, he made the save. The Flying Bryant stood tall, but did they stand tall enough? Is there a bit of tension there? I'm sensing tension. I don't think anyone else is really, though. As we moved on then to, it wasn't a 5-way match, although this would absolutely slap. It was an unannounced match that never got a match graphic, unfortunately. I would have loved to put one together I should have put one together in Photoshop, shouldn't I? Or Canva. Can't afford Photoshop. Sorry, lads. Emersyn Jayne teamed with Zeuxis to take on my spirit animal, Amira, Blair, and Jungle Kyona. This was a team that I'm going to need to see booked a bajillion times. That's probably not enough, quite frankly. They were amazing. They even gave Jungle Kyona a little hat similar to Amira Blair. They were twinning on the night, and they were twinning so hard that they managed to pick up the win, which was a lot of fun. Halfway through this match, though, I did think Amira Blair got legitimately injured. A drop kick to the leg, a basement drop kick, really did mess her up. And she did recreate the Peter Griffin-esque maneuver when he falls and clutches his knee and goes. So, I don't think she was injured, though, because she did get up and she hit a marvellous spear, a spearer, as she calls it. And that was it. That was the victory, as Emersyn Jayne was put in a half crab and Zeuxis was put in a sharpshooter, I believe, by Jungle Kyona. A double submission, double tap out, and a win for the girls. Next up, we had Leon Slater taking on HMD, Hard Man Dan. This one, just as fun as the other ones. Every match on this card delivered. Someone who's quite negative, didn't really have any negative things to say when it comes to the in-ring aspects. Again, referees, I hate your guts. I'll be having words. and we'll see in a little bit what I have to say on a particular couple of decisions. We all know last week I was very angry at the referee. One referee in particular, ref Oscar Hardin, of course, reversing his decision because he saw the foot under the rope of Michael Oku, and Leon Slater unable to win. He won the title, but he didn't get to hold it for very long because Michael Oku then stole it back. But that was, of course, how this match came about, because Leon Slater was sent HMD after turning on Leon Slater, but unsuccessfully doing so because Slater's got eyes in the back of his head. The drawn-on ones from Jeff Hardy weren't the only eyes in the back of his head. I'm sure he's done a Hardy boy. He's a Hardy boy. I'm sure he's done some cosplay in some way of the Jeff Hardy eyes. But yeah, HMD proved he's a very funny man. He had quite a few great moments, and he did quite good in a technical aspect to hold himself against Leon Slater. Leon Slater debuting a new finisher that is not the Swanton 450 or the Swanton Bomb. He had a torture rack Blue Thunder Bomb. Really like the look of it. Probably good for the longevity of his career, considering if he does a Swanton Bomb every single night, he's probably going to be hurt by mid-30s. He's still got a long career ahead of him. Maybe save that one for the big matches. Super finisher by WWE 2K26 standards. But yeah, after the match, Leon Slater grabbed the mic. Of course he won, just to clarify. He grabbed the mic. He said HMD was very good because he was trained by our coach. And then he corrected himself and said his coach, because of course, not in the Slater Dojo anymore. Although, maybe he could start his own Slater Dojo. Who knows? But yeah, Leon Slater challenging Liam Slater to a match at Wembley Stadium. You have to assume that'll be made official in the coming weeks. Maybe next week. Shouldn't be long at least. As we then moved on to my match of the night. Two women I was not as familiar with. Cory Zero in a singles aspect, of course. I know French art quite well, big fans. And I know a little bit about Jessica Troy, not as much as Charlie Evans, but I know she was feuding with Charlie Evans in Australia, and I know I've seen a couple of bits here and there, but it was incredible to see the Granola Grappler in person. She took on Cory Zero, the king herself. I mean, this one had everything. A top rope Spanish fly, avalanche, whatever you want to call it. We saw her really cool. I really like the Cory Zero moonsault that she does, where she does a little bit of a tightrope walk and then moonsaults down. Of course, that missed on this occasion, which was a shame. I really didn't know which way it was going to go, quite frankly. But eventually, Jessica Troy, not Troy Ryan, that's one half of the meat wagon, actually the exact opposite. Because she's obviously the granola grappler, veganism and such. And he's meat. That's a terrible mistake to make from me. But Jessica Troy did eventually lock in a La Mystica style armbar, Fujiwara, other such things, many things. I'm sure she has a different name for it, but in my mind, it's La Mystica. But yeah, this one, match of the night, by far, they threw themselves about like nobody business. And that was our last match before our intermission. No, it wasn't. It was our first half co-main event, as the main event featured three fine athletes, and Will Kaven, Mark Trew, and Kieron Lacy, as they took on Leon Cage, the best to do it. 2007 represent, which is also the year I was born. Ain't that crazy? He's up there with the real wrestlers, and I'm sat down here in a little box with my name. He doesn't have a cool font for his name, so who's winning really? As he teamed with Connor Mills and Jay Joshua, of course, Mills fighting Michael Oku at Wembley Arena in the main event. Incredible stuff. And Jay Joshua, of course, getting to fight Zack Sabre Jr. at Wembley. This one was really sad match, this one, because Leon Cage was being bullied. Jay Joshua was a bully. Isn't that a shame? No. I mean, he's a big bruiser, is the problem. And Leon Cage did beat him, so his ego's a little bit bruised. And so Jay Joshua refused to tag Leon Cage in at any point during this match. He hated him. And eventually, though, Connor Mills was forced, because Jay Joshua was knocked off the apron, to tag Leon Cage in, and Leon Cage ran wild on these fools. Every single member of the opposing side got some form of super kick, flip, or other such insane thing done to them before eventually the tag was made back out. Connor Mills and Jay Joshua hit a couple of moves. Mills hit the Nigel Lariat, but as he was dipping down, Leon Cage tag made, and he hit the double foot stomp and won the match for the team. Jay Joshua began to try and rip his head off, but Connor Mills said, "Hey there, tranquilo, how you know?" and such other Andrade sentences as he patted Leon Cage on the head, called him a cheeky little rascal. At least that's my opinion of what he said to him. And Leon Cage's life was spared as we headed to intermission, and he was able to celebrate all night long because it's the summer holidays and he doesn't have to worry about school in the morning. See, it's funny, guys, because he's young, because he's really young, really young. It's the thing. Funny in it. But that was our intermission. Our second half kicked off with the Contenders. Of course, Coventry's been a bit of a breeding ground for Contenders. We've seen a couple contender versus contender matches. We thought we'd see one here between Chicago Desai, and he was set to face Elvin Narayan, I believe his name is. Narayan would probably be a better pronunciation. He was set to face him, but then we heard I think he's great now because of how hateable he is. And I hope he appreciates the passion. It was Michael Oku's music that hit Now We Play. And he came out to the ring as if these two didn't exist and just began talking. He dropped some absolute bangers, which unfortunately I was told did not pick up on the stream, including talking about how much he loved the Women's Grand Prix and how it was such a shame that everybody who was pandering for it didn't come. And anyone who wasn't able to make it, he had a few sly words to say. And then he said, "Give it up for Ref Sandy Beach," who was our referee for this match and was also a woman. But that wasn't picked up on the broadcast, apparently. So when I tweeted out Ref Sandy Beach, also a woman, that could have confused a few people. But he then said, "Hey guys, it's a birthday in the house." And I thought we might, be off air or something. Might have a 7-year-old's birthday to celebrate and everybody would sing happy birthday. No, it was Isaac Murray's birthday. And Michael Oku made him get in the ring. And it was a tag team match. That was the birthday present. Isaac Murray got the honor of teaming with undisputed British heavyweight champion Michael Oku. Not quite the tag team partner that Oku had a few years ago, although I think if they tag together now, I don't think it'd last very long before they started beating the shit out of each other. More on that after the match. But yeah, the Contenders, they put up a good fight. Chicago Desai flew a couple punches and such. Elvin Narayan tried his best, I'm sure. But unfortunately, Michael Oku managed to win with the Nigel Lariat and the Final Destination. Great name for a finisher. Again, he's got a standing finisher now. You don't always want to have a submission finisher. I'd argue his frog splash isn't a finisher, since usually he hits it twice before locking that half grab in. The finisher's got to be one and done. And the Final Destination, I believe, is one and done. I don't think anyone's ever kicked out of it. I could be wrong though, but in RevPro that I've been watching hasn't been kicked out of. After the match though was where more nonsense happened. Isaac Murray got in the ring, and Michael Oku said the Nigel lariat is very fun to hit. And although it's Connor Mills' finisher, he stole it from Nigel, who stole it from Les Kellett, British wrestling legend. So really, people should be shouting Leslie when he hits it. And of course, like all good Michael Oku moments, he had to give us a little demonstration. So he asked Isaac Murray, give me a little shoulder barge. I thought I knew where it was going. I thought, unfortunately, Isaac Murray was going to be losing his head. But he was not. He was not losing his head as Oku bounced off the ropes. Everyone shouted, Leslie! He did it again. Leslie! And he did it one final time, but unfortunately, he wasn't listening to Isaac Murray, who was telling him that there was an angry Connor Mills stood directly outside the ring. He dipped back, and he got the shit beat out of him. And he flopped through a door so hard, I thought he might have actually concussed himself. He grabbed his title, he ran all the way around the ring and flew through a fire exit like Ilya Dragunov hitting a torpedo Moscow. He was flying. Another iconic moment from this segment, genuinely probably my favourite segment of the night. Anything involving tag team matches seemed to be a lot of fun. We had obviously the fun Amira, Blair and Jungle Kyona tag match. Then we had the 6-man tag match. And this one, all including some pretty funny moments. But obviously, the most iconic part of this match was Michael Oku singing Happy Birthday, going, Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I appreciate the passion. Happy birthday to you. I don't appreciate how much Michael Oku appreciates the passion a lot of the time. But nonetheless, he did eventually get out of the ring, and Oku, Connor Mills grabbed a mic and said, Oku, next week, no more running face-to-face inside London, which, giving him a week to prepare, probably not a smart idea for Connor Mills or for me, because I wanted to see the face-to-face, and I don't have the time to travel all the way down to London. Hell, maybe I do. You never know. I've been meaning to check out Porchester Hall for a little while. There's some pretty good matches on next week's show. I believe Alexis Falcon will be defending for the final time in a gauntlet against Alice Inc. There's obviously that face-to-face. Probably Kanji and I'd assume Kanji will be in action. That'd be spoiling the main event though, so I'll keep that one hush-hush for now. But yeah, some pretty fun stuff. But yeah, I don't like that London get to do the face-to-face because he was already in the building. Why wouldn't you demand him to come out now? Why would you give him the chance to run away for a week? But nonetheless, wrestling logic aside, we moved to our next matchup, and this time it actually had a graphic because it wasn't an unannounced match. And here is where things get very, very infuriating. Here's where things become problematic, for me at least. JJ Gale took on TK Cooper. Now, of course, TK Cooper attacked JJ Gale after his victory last week in Bradford against David Francisco in a strap match. However, this week, things were looking pretty good. A pretty solid match. TK Cooper had it won quite a few times. JJ Gale had it won a few times, but eventually the heart and soul of Revolution Pro was able to hit the Gale Force. And it was 1, and it was 2, and it was 3. Ref Oscar Harding, the same official that main evented last week in Bradford, he didn't quite notice this time. Even though he was omnipotent last week and was able to see Michael Oku's foot was under the rope for the full count, even without seeing it. Clear as daylight, with an entire row, entire section, entire building of fans chanting, screaming for our beloved TK Cooper that his foot was under the rope. It was not overturned. The match was not restarted. And this has pissed me off. TK Cooper was right all along. It is time to stand up against the establishment. I am done with Andy Quilden. I am done with Ref Oscar Harding. He must pay for his sins. He must pay his penance. The man has gone too far this time. Michael Oku is being protected, and we must put an end to this injustice. I demand Ref Oscar Harding versus TK Cooper at Wembley. It is the only solution. I swear. Don't know what came over me there. Where was I? So JJ Gale was able to win. TK Cooper's foot was under the bottom rope. Did I swear I've already said that. I think I might have blacked out a second ago. After the match, David Francisco slid into the ring and choked TK Cooper out with a strap. It's the same strap he tied himself to against JJ Gale in the match of the year last week. I'm sorry, guys. It was a 4-corner strap match. I have to take the piss out of it. It's not their fault. It's a certain booker's fault. Certain matchmaker. He books the matches. He changes the rules. He books what rules happen. And of course, we've gone off about the strap match enough. But JJ Gale finds himself on a bit of a winning streak going into Wembley. Hopefully he'll find something interesting to do in Wembley Stadium, you'd hope. And hopefully TK Cooper can dispatch David Francisco. David Gale is a match, mishmatch of JJ Gale and David Francisco, the one true son of Southampton. But yeah, hopefully you can dispatch David Francisco before Wembley, because of course TK Cooper has to be in the women's title match between Kanji and Alexis Falcon. He has to be in the main event. It's Destination Everywhere plus TK Cooper. He's actually replacing Ethan Allen in the Young Guns versus FTR match. He's also going to be in the pre-show Battle Royal, from what I've heard. And obviously the Machine will be wrestling a couple of tag teams in a gauntlet-style match. So yeah, TK Cooper's got a lot on his plate for Wembley. And he's winning all of those matches. We move on to our co-main event of the evening, featuring Robbie X taking on Luke Jacobs. This match was the epitome of fuck your flippy shit. Robbie X did a lot of flippy stuff, and Luke Jacobs scouted it every single time. Eventually, though, the exclamation was attempted, and a rear naked choke was locked in by Luke Jacobs, who, weirdly enough, got an awful reaction. Nobody was cheering for him aside from, like, a few people, which I'm surprised by, because he is our only hope against FTR, the villainous FTR in Wembley Stadium, in less than 5 weeks' time. I know he's on his own. I know he's from Manchester, but I'm also from Manchester. So, you know, we're good people. I get that we're in the Midlands. There doesn't have to be this brawl between the two places when we should be standing behind Luke Jacobs. Robbie X is in Japan now. He's not one of us anymore. In fairness, Robbie X is a much more recognisable face to the HMV Empire crowd due to the fact that he was in Wrestle Carnival quite a bit. So maybe they got behind him for that. But I stand by that Luke Jacobs, he's a good boy. He didn't deserve the horrid reaction they gave him. But yeah, Luke Jacobs picking up another win. We're still yet to find out if Ethan Allen is cleared or not. I'm begging you, man, please let him be cleared. I don't want this, man. I don't want to not see FTR v the Young Guns. They deserve it too much. They fought too hard. Even if we give Luke Jacobs a match against another bald wrestler who, by the way, Robbie X, bald, Dax Harwood, bald, should be an easy win if they go with my idea that I suggested last week of FTR bald versus Luke Jacobs. He can kill a bald man easy. But yeah, I'm really hoping, again, thoughts and prayers and other such things for not only because I want them to see it, but also for selfish reasons of it being an incredible match that we could be missing out on. But we move to our main event of the evening. The Pure Fusion Collective, not called that for copyright reasons, but in our heart called that, so we'll have to call them the Studline from now on. They teamed against Kanji and Myla Grace. Now, of course, this match had a ton of tension boiling around it. Zoey Serrano and Shanya Baszler taking out Kanji's arm, injuring her, so she was not medically cleared for the main event yesterday for the Women's Grand Prix final. However, they were her absolute enemies, but Myla Grace surely had some justified hatred towards Kanji, because Kanji, despite not being medically cleared, took it upon herself to determine that she was cleared to compete. Now, I get it. It's a great underdog story, and I am never one to slander Kanji. She's incredible. But if I'm Myla Grace, okay, and I've won a 4-way match where the winner replaces anyone who gets injured and is no longer medically cleared, and I've been robbed of not main eventing, but a women's title shot at Wembley Arena, I would be fuming. And that's exactly what she was. I mean, I think she could have gone about it in a better way than accepting the match and then abandoning Kanji. But she did just that, jumped off the apron, allowed the Pure Fusion Collective to pick up the victory with a sort of, it was a backbreaker lariat sort of maneuver that put Kanji down. I thought she might 2v1 them. And unfortunately, we didn't see that twist and shout that she likes to call Kanji Sabre Jr. either. I was very ready. My vocal cords were warmed for a quick shout of Kanji Sabre Jr. But could she do it? No. However, none of that really mattered because Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. She's going to Wembley. Que sera, sera. That's right. Of course, Kanji, after the match, said, I don't care that I've just been pinned. I don't care that I've just lost, because nobody can take away my Women's Grand Prix victory last night. Not Myla Grace, who she actually admitted should be a little bit jealous. Not Alexis Falcon, not the Pure Fusion Collective, because she has that guaranteed women's title shot against Alexis Falcon or Alice Inc. But let's be honest, Alexis Falcon. Sorry, Alice. I'm not feeling very confident for you next week in London. They could pull a big switcheroo, but I think Kanji will be cheering for Alexis Falcon next week. I think she wants to beat her in Wembley Stadium Arena. I mean, I'm sure she'd like to beat her in Wembley Stadium as well. Who knows? But that was all we had time for on that broadcast. I have been JackyBeno. This has been the Ramblin Recap. This is a QR code for RevPro On Demand if you should so fancy signing up. I think maybe leave it until just before next Saturday and you might be able to sneak in the Wembley Arena show included in your run of shows that you get. I mean, RevPro are very consistent, aren't they? Let's be honest, they are, as I've said, the best around when it comes to wrestling shows. You get one every weekend. This weekend you got 2 sort of, but a doubleheader. But a doubleheader that, unlike most other doubleheaders, was not 2 shows that could have been 1 show. It was very much so justified that they ran 2 shows. But I will see you next time. This has been Rambling About Wrestling's Ramblin Recap. I'm still rambling on, but I'll see you. Bye-bye.